Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to another session of Conversations with Geoff. Just a minute or so late, man, because I was having so much fun behind the scenes talking to our guests. Woo, boy, if you could have been in that session, it was just amazing, right? I mean, so stay tuned. Please, please, please sit down. It's not too late to subscribe and share this and tag your friends and invite them to this next session, Conversations with Geoff. For those of you that have been hanging out with us the whole time since we started, we love you. And for all you newbies that are in the family that are here, please make sure you let us know where you're coming from. Share how you're feeling. Share when you can relate. See if you have any questions. And listen. We understand that the most important commodity we all have that we can't get back is your time. So that's why we are excited to know that, hey, if you're here and you're going to give us some time, baby, we're going to lay you out. Ha! That's this guest that we will bring on. You saw the commercial yesterday. Maybe some of you, if you didn't, go back and check it out. She is for real and compassionate about serving. So I want to thank everybody today for being here. And just one last bit of homework, or not homework, but housekeeping. For those of you that have really thought about being a potential sponsor on our show and our affiliate, please just reach out to me. Hit a link, geoffctyson@gmail.com. And let's talk about that. And then lastly, as we are looking at going into the second half of the year, I'm already into June, and I know it's not here yet, but hey, you got to get ready for it. And we're looking at scheduling for speaking, looking for a keynote speaker. Filling my schedule up now in the areas of business development, both for the employer and employee, entrepreneurship, how and what to do in that space, and or schools. Right. If you know my story at all, you know I have a compassion around helping students like I was get through school. That 1.99 community of students that's out there in the grade point average. So please, if you know some folks are looking, let's have a conversation around that. And I'd like the opportunity to be able to get this message out to as many folks as possible before year end. Okay. Whew, I got all that done. All right. So listen. For those of you that aren't familiar with Conversations with Geoff, our purpose is really about, serving, messaging in the areas of health, wealth, and community. And, we break it down into different categories and relationships in all those areas, right? And the mission that I mentioned to you earlier is in those spaces, we want you to understand the power of and the gift that we all have. And becoming aware of the conversation you're having with yourself about yourself. And if it's either helping you or hindering you, holding you back, is that the message that you get up every day on fire with, or is it the message that continues to keep you in that sluggish, just kind of existing in life? Who wants to exist in life, man? We're not placed on this planet to just exist, folks. And we have the tools, we all have the tools between our ears to exercise change, to exercise growth. That's thinking. We got. Can I share a little bit? I always like to tell a little bit about my own life in this stuff, right? Because look, I'm not perfect in this lesson. I have to exercise these same principles each and every day, right? So anyway, last night, yesterday, and I believe this, I only have to be better today than the person I was the day before, not anybody else, right? So this is me looking at me. So I had this big day ahead, and half of the day went the way I wanted to, and the evening part, that part where, I made a commitment to myself. Hey, for those of us that make commitments to ourselves and then maybe not hold them to do these certain things, and, got the time to do that, and I did a little bit of it and a little less, and then I found myself in front of that box where I hadn't sat in a long time, watching a great show. I think it's East New York. Anyhow, so I'm carrying all this mess to bed, and I get up in the morning, and I wanted to get up early, and I get up a little late. Does that sound familiar to anybody? So how do you think I felt? Man, I was like, boy, I'm not where I am right now, but here's what I'll say to you as I move on away from this. I had to reach down and grab that dumbbell. I believe in mental exercise, baby. That I can dumbbell, and then I will dumbbell. So I'm lifting myself up, man. I'm bringing energy to my body, right? By what I say and what I think. And that energy connects, right? So now, man, I will, I can, I must, And then say it with me when you hear this. Nothing can stop me from reaching my destiny. I will not be denied, baby. I will not be denied. We will not be denied. So if you do that exercise, I guarantee you, you're going to recognize the difference. All right. Let me get to our guest because she's got some fire stuff and we don't have her long, right? So she, as you saw the commercial yesterday, I'm going to highlight her bio. Go to her site and get her information. It's Andrea Scott. Woo, man, she went no background. She went to Fame High School in New York City, went to Temple University. Excuse me, was a jazz performance major and got an opportunity to be a headliner in a musical, and boom, she was gone, starting to pursue her career, right? And that was the start of her desire for freedom. She recognized that there was something greater out there, like lifestyle and entrepreneurship. And then she began a home-based business in 1993 and spent 26 years in that business, and she retired as, the youngest Black woman to achieve the top position in a multi-billion-dollar company. And look, it was the people that drive them beautiful pink Cadillacs, man. Listen, everybody knows that business, and you know how hard you have to work to get things done. You know how important relationships are in that business, and this woman just killed it. Woo, man. All right, so anyway. She's also an author, wrote 2 books, anthology for aspiring entrepreneurs called As For Me in My House, which became an Amazon bestseller. She's married to the love of her life, and my friend Nate Scott, who's also an author of the book Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth. Powerful message in that stuff. 2 books you need to go out, run out, and get right now. They also own together Life is Rich Global LLC company, where they provide plan, mentorship, and support to couples, families, and entrepreneurs who want to help achieve great things in their life. She's also a co-parent. I love the word co-parent, right? 2 beautiful children, and she's active financial member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, which was founded in 1913. Powerful group of women, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring her back, our guest, Andrea Scott. Hey, Andrea, what's up?
Hey, Geoff, how are you?
Oh, you see me. I'm glad to be here and excited about the conversation that we're going to have here in a few minutes. So before we do, I kind of give them a little background. Why don't you just take a second and say, hey, show us who you are, and then we'll get
to it. Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I am super excited, totally thrilled to share with your audience and just have some conversation, man. We're gonna cover as much as we can. My name is Andrea Scott. Like he said, I was a child immigrant. I was born on the beautiful island of Jamaica. If you haven't been, you got to get there. And my mom came to this country, United States, at the age of 22. And she left my father and my brother and I behind because she wanted to give us the life that we couldn't have in Jamaica. And so we came seeking the American dream. And I came to the United States, and growing up as a kid, I was that gregarious child, but I always remember loving to be around my mom's friends and just older people. I didn't really care to be around people my age. And so I was always curious. I was that curious child. And so I grew up in the Bronx, New York. And I realized that I love to entertain and perform. And I learned all of the commercials. I would sing all the commercials. I would grab a fork or a knife and I would sing all the commercials, and I really enjoyed it. And so I thought, I think I want to be an entertainer. And so I went ahead. There was a school in Harlem, New York. It was the Fame School, which is based on the movie Fame. And my school was music and art. And I auditioned for that high school, and I was accepted. And so that started my career in music. And from high school, I went to Temple University, and I was a jazz vocal commercial performance major. Left college and was able to go and perform on stage. I played the part of Dionne Warwick, and Dionne Warwick actually came to my show. Can you believe that? So I'm 20 years old and I'm singing all her hits. Do you know the way to San Jose? What's Alfie? And that's what friends are for. I'm singing all of her stuff. And goodness gracious. And she came to the island, and it was just an amazing experience. She heard there was a show and someone was playing her, and that someone was me. And so it was a lot of fun. She loved the show, and it was a great experience. And that was when I realized that that was the lifestyle I wanted. I wanted the lifestyle. I wanted time freedom, money freedom, and location freedom.
Mm.
But I didn't. After I had my 21st birthday there, I realized showbiz for me was not what I wanted in that particular season. So you got to know your seasons.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just writing down Dionne Warwick because that was one of my mom's favorite, you know.
Okay.
Woo, and she's a powerful person.
Absolutely.
And you're singing her stuff. I would love to have been able to see that. So now you're in this space and you're moving through life, and I wrote down time, money, and location.
Freedom, baby, freedom.
So you find yourself starting this business in 1993, right? I mean, what was going on with you? Right?
So it's interesting. That's a great question. So when the show closed, I had an opportunity to either go with the show or to go back home. Mm-hmm. And I knew that it wasn't my season to go on the road. And so I came back home, and now I'm thinking, what do you want to be? What do I want to be when I grow up? Because it's all I ever wanted to do. So the question right now is, what do you do when you have your whole life planned out and you think that you know what you want to do, and then God says no? Right? There's more, right? Yeah. But wait, Bob, there's more, right? And so now I come back and I'm like, do I want to go and finish this music degree? Because I don't know if I'm going to ever perform again. So what do I do? So I'm working jobs and I'm always getting promoted. But Geoff, I was so unfulfilled. You have to know yourself and where you thrive and how you excel. Because if you don't know your giftings, you will get stuck, you will be unfulfilled, and you will be frustrated. And so every job that I had, I did a great job because I did everything as unto the Lord. And I had great people skills. So they were always promoting me. Like, I just got here, people, right? And I didn't realize that that's what it was, that I had great people skills. And so I would move from job to job. And my last job, I was the assistant director for an environmental services department at a major trauma center in New Jersey. So by this time I had gone back to Philly because I grew up in New York. And actually, let me go back. When I came home from the show, I did go to New York. And that's when I found out that my mother was a Mary Kay beauty consultant. And that's how my mother was the one that introduced me to Mary Kay. And so I didn't want to sell anything. That was not on my radar at all. But I joined Mary Kay because of my mom. My mom wanted to be a sales director and earn a car. I didn't know what any of that stuff was, but I said, okay, Mom, I will join, but don't ask me to sell anything because I'm not selling anything. And as soon as she hit her goal, Geoff, I quit.
Well, let me back you up before even that, though. This is interesting. I want to make sure we do that. When you said something, it was about, knowing something that was your calling. You kind of surrendered.
Yeah.
And for people that are maybe in that space, what can you offer them right now today that was you years ago? Yeah.
So a lot of times we get stuck because we keep saying no. We're not open and we're afraid of the yes. But it's the yeses that usually it's things that take us to our goal, right? Or to the place that God wants us to go. And so if we're open to getting more information, once you get new information, then you make a new decision. I was open to getting I was open to getting information. It didn't, whether I said yes or no, but I was open to getting the information. When I got the information, I was able to make a clear decision on, was this the right path for me? And knowing that God speaks to me 4 ways: through his word, through his spirit, through people, and through circumstance. Right. And if all of those line up, then I'm saying, yes, Lord, send me, I'll go. And that's it. And so that has been really my life. The steps, God has ordered my steps in that way. And I just keep saying, okay, Lord, here we go.
Now, you don't raise your hand willingly all the time. Sometimes you got to lift it up like this, right?
Listen, sometimes I'm running, right? And I'm looking back and I'm like, okay. But yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing a little bit about that. So let's go back to the mom and get you in. You got a year, you quit.
And I quit. I moved back to Philadelphia, and now I'm in corporate America being miserable. I'm doing a great job, but I'm being totally miserable because it is not time freedom. Remember, I had I was clear when I was a kid. Yeah. It wasn't time freedom, it wasn't money freedom, and it wasn't location freedom. Yes. And so I kept going from job to job, and finally, one day I had in my spirit, it was kind of like I heard my spirit say, call your mother and start your Mary Kay business. And so I did. And I started that business because I felt that it was the thing I was supposed to do from the inside. Wow. And I called my mom, Geoff, and I signed up and I became a beauty consultant with Mary Kay. And I did the thing that I didn't do the first time, which was actually learn. I let myself be taught, and I became a student, and I learned the business, and I actually had great success with it.
Yeah. Do you remember, Andrea, what it was? I mean, I know you made the decision, but what did you realize that the impact that you would have in terms of the value of service at that time? I mean, because you had it's all that business is all about service and quality of people, teaching people up, and you know, and really delivering when no one else wants to, and doing the things, showing up.
Man, it is. You know, that's a great question, Geoff. And I'll say this, and I'm going back in the recesses of my mind, just really thinking about that journey. Yeah. When I came in for the money and for the lifestyle. Money freedom, location freedom, right?
That's what I was looking for. Yes.
And because I saw that in the women, I went to a convention and I saw that. And I literally saw myself on stage. So here's another thing. If you can see yourself in your mind's eye in that place, then chances are you can make it happen. But now you got to go back and think about, well, who do I have to become in order to become who I want to be?
Yeah.
You know, and who do I need to become now to either, whether you're in a job, to get the position that you want, to get the promotion that you want, or to be that leader that you want to be the mom. You know, you might be a someone who finds themselves pregnant for some, you know, and you're like, oops, I didn't know that was going to happen, right? Or maybe even T.D. Jakes' daughter, Pastor Sarah Jakes, I can't remember her last name, her married name, but I think it's Roberts or something like that.
Yeah,
but she even said at 13, she was pregnant at 13. You know, that's not a unique story. But who do you have to be now to become the mother that you want to be? Yeah. And so when I saw myself on the stage, I said, I got to become like those women that are down there in order to be able to stand in those shoes, or else I'm going to feel like an imposter, right? And so I went home and I got to work, and I just learned and I grew. And the question that you asked, I didn't know the impact that I would have until I started having impact. And I said, okay, God, this is, I see what you're doing now. You're building my story. You're building my legacy. You're building all of this. And it's really his legacy. It's really his story. Yeah. He's using us to fulfill it. And so I was honored to do so. And I said, okay, Lord, if you send me, I'll go. If you send the women, I'll take care of them, God, and I'll lead them, and I'll build it. And so that's what we did. And I became the youngest Black woman in the history of Mary Kay. Mary Kay, 60-year-old company, and became the youngest at the age of 36 to become a national sales director, top position in the company. And that was in 2003. And so, and I was the 17th woman of color to achieve that top position.
Yeah. You know, and I just want people to, I'm going to add a little more to that, because congratulations on the accomplishment. And if you don't know anything about that business, and I'm not here to kind of tell everything, all I know is that it's highly intensive people and communication and serving, and then serving again, and being the example, and going above and beyond like we do in other places. But it was a massive amount of people in order to achieve those teams and development and all that stuff. So, you know, congratulations again.
Thank you.
That's tremendous. And now so you did those things and you retired, and we talked, you know, and I promised that we would at least talk about a couple of quick things here, you know, because in the background we were talking, ladies and gentlemen, about a few things, pivoting and roses and overcoming. Oh, they were phenomenal. And I think which one of those fits into where we are right now in our discussion?
You know what? I'm going to say pivot.
Yeah.
I'm going to say pivot, because a lot of times we will find ourselves with our lives planned out on paper.
Mm.
And as we begin to grow, see, the whole thing is, to what degree are we growing? Because as we grow, Geoff, we want different things. We're exposed to different things, right? We're exposed to different people. We're reading more books, hopefully. We're developing ourselves. And as we grow, we see more. We can be more. Why not go for more, right?
Mm.
Because we're always only an example to other people. So how do you pivot? You know, for me, making the decision to leave my full-time paycheck, that paycheck that was coming in every single week, even though my paycheck told me no, a lot of times, you know, when I went to buy stuff, be like, no,
Yeah.
you know, because it wasn't money freedom, time freedom, and location freedom, right? And so, you know, but it was still coming in, and I knew that I could at least take care of what I need to take care of. And while I was building my business, but when I knew that I needed to take time away from, that was taking time away from my business, I gave the people what they were paying for, but I also worked on my business part-time. And knowing when to pivot, knowing when it's your season. And I truly remember the day that I sat in my seat and I said, there's some man or woman who needs this job, and I am sitting in their chair. And I don't even want this job. And I thought, it's time to go. You know, that easy. And I thought to myself, somebody is struggling and they need and want this position, and I'm taking up space. So whose space are you taking up? Doing something that you hate when somebody else really is in that drawer, that file, their application is there just waiting for somebody to leave the seat. So sometimes when we don't pivot, when we don't leave, when we don't say, send me, Lord, I'll go, when we don't follow our dreams, we're literally we're in somebody else's space and not allowing them to move through the growth piece, because that seat could be their next step in their growth before they move on, and that type of thing. So it's just really knowing when your season is up and not really staying past your season.
Wow, that was really strong. You know, there's a lot in there I wrote down from the beginning of your statement there. See more, be more, and go for more. And then knowing when it's time to lose. And then now you're looking back, you're always thinking about the benefit of others. Yeah. Right. You know, so for those of us that are sitting in spaces that we don't want to be in, I mean, here's some tools that you can, you know, kind of write down, go back and listen to this thing again and see the difference. I mean, if you had stayed where you were, you can't go back. You know, that's but look, here's an example of a result of someone that took the leap and made the step. So if you're wondering, if you're teetering, if you haven't heard from her by now that it's possible, then go back and listen to this message again. So I mean, that pivot piece is there. And COVID created some pivots too, right?
It really did. It really did. And you know, who saw that coming, right? And I think COVID shut a lot of traditional business down, but it also opened up a lot of other businesses. People found that they could make money by doing things that they love, that they're using their gifts and talents and creating a business, whether it was cooking, whether it was music or whatever it is. People had a chance to focus on some other things. My pivot, I think one of the biggest pivots for me really was, now here I am at the top of Mary Kay. And I have all of these women that are following me, and God is saying, time to go. Geoff, it's crazy. And I'm asking the Lord, we're like in a sparring match, right? Because I'm thinking, God, I'm at the top of the company, you know, and it wasn't even, I didn't leave. I literally retired. And I retired at 52 versus retiring at 65. And it was really, it was based on a lot of factors. And, but I knew I was feeling like it was time for me to move on. But here's the scary thing. It was the scariest thing ever, because in Mary Kay, I had a built-in fan club. I had an income that was really amazing. I traveled the world. Everybody knew who I was. And now what is going to happen? What else can I do? What else am I going to do if I'm not doing this? This is what I know. It's what I've done for 26 years. I'm doing it well. Now I got to start over doing something else. But what am I supposed to do? And that's the piece. It's kind of like God saying to Abraham, leave your father's land and everything, take your people and go. And Abraham said, okay, go. And while he was walking, God was talking. Yeah. And that's the deal, is that once you start walking, God will start talking and giving you instructions. And so that was a huge pivot for me. And really, it was leaving people behind that I loved and nurtured, and they loved and nurtured me. But that was the season. And when the season was up, it was time to pivot.
And, too, as you were saying earlier, it was time to hand that seat to someone else.
Exactly.
That was there and that was ready, right?
Exactly.
You were the example for those that said, you were the example of that person you were in 1993 for that person to say, when is she going to get out of my job? Right?
Yeah, I was a mirror. That's all.
You're a mirror there, and you do that, and life shows up. So, I appreciate you sharing that. And I'm going to move the word pivot into something else personal as we kind of wind down. I want to make sure we get to that piece of it. We talked about the holding on and the rose, and for those folks, we go into relationships and sometimes the results of divorce. Can you talk a little bit about that, because it wasn't private.
Right. No, it was very public. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So when I got married late, which was considered late, which was the age of 30 back then, in the early 90s, folks were getting married out of college. And that's so 30, I got married. I moved to Jacksonville, Florida, and I married a pastor. So I was a pastor's wife, a first lady of a church here for 17 years. And it just was not a good marriage. It wasn't good for me. It wasn't good for him. But one of the reasons why I stayed so long, because Lord knows I prayed and prayed and prayed, was because I had other people were tied to my decisions, to my decision making. And I told the Lord, I said, God, I will not, no matter how I feel, no matter how much my heart hurts, no matter how unfulfilling this is, I will not leave unless you release me and give me peace. But I also knew I could not die like that. And I don't wish that upon anybody, to be in a place where you feel like you're stuck anywhere. And so one of the things that I learned, though, is I really learned how to love. I learned how to love people I didn't like. Wow. I learned how to be obedient and wait on God. I learned so much in that marriage. I learned how do I say this? I learned how to love. And not love when it comes to romantic love. I'm talking about the 1 Corinthians 13, 4-10 love. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What God says love is. And covering my marriage, covering the ministry, covering the man. No one knew what I was going through. Even my success, and I was successful in my business, but in my private life, I was failing, so to speak. It was not good, but I covered it. And so right now, Geoff, I have the privilege, and God has moved me into being able to coach women, professional women in their 40s, to be who are going through divorce, or maybe they've been through divorce and they just are having a hard time kind of getting themselves together, understanding their identity. My identity was never tied into the first lady title. And I had my own career. I had my own set of friends. I traveled the world. I did all of that. If my identity was tied into that title, I would have probably stayed until I was dead.
Hold on to it, right?
Holding on to something that, and being like that dead flower, and just, but I said, I got to be true to myself and understand that I was not built for that, because it wasn't the kind of freedom that I wanted. And anything that wasn't freedom to me, Geoff, was not anything that I was going to buy into. Yeah. And so, but I waited, and God gave me the green light, and I was able to, and I would say this, had I left in my flesh when I wanted to leave, I would never have met my husband, my best friend, the love of my life, Nate Scott. I would never have met him. The timing would have been off. So God will set you up if you just say, okay, Lord, here we go again.
If you just surrender that. And I want to say something and then what you said, a lot of beautiful things in that message. You said something about you learned about love at a deeper level. And, I always kind of like say, hey, can I just speak what I'm thinking, right? And what I heard when you say that, I felt that you found a deeper love with Andrea.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I literally, and I mean, thank you for saying that, because I struggled with that. I struggled with and a lot of women do, but with the shame, with how it was going to end. I didn't want to be divorced. My parents were together for 40 years. My brother had gotten a divorce, and now their other child was going to be divorced. That was their pastor, and all of that stuff. And so I struggled with, why wasn't I enough?
Yeah.
And looking at myself thinking, what could I change? And a lot of women struggle with that, Geoff, and that's just true. And so when we learn how to love ourselves, and that's what I did, I was able to look at that scripture and say, man, you know what? I love myself. And because I love myself, I know what I deserve. And that's really important. And Nate Scott, I got to tell you, that man helped me through that period as a friend and as an advisor and a coach, somebody that was my coach. So yeah.
No, I appreciate you stepping into the question.
Yeah.
Because as a divorcee myself, there is a lot of those things that you shared. It's not just women. It's not just it's all of us that go through that.
That is true.
That shame. And my parents were married 44 years before my mom's passed, right? And I always thought I'd have the same thing, and it didn't. So it was a whole lot of self-sabotaging thoughts and not belonging, not being good enough, all that stuff that goes into it, right? But when we surrender, and then once that surrender takes place, then we can begin to have some acceptance and look at things equally, and then move forward. So I appreciate you answering that question, and you got a chance to talk about the flower. So, hey, listen, we almost wrap up time, and God, time just went by so fast.
Yeah.
So how do people get a hold of you, and what do you want to leave this session with today for folks?
You know what? What do I want to leave everyone with? I want to leave everyone with just some hope. Just hope in being clear about who you want to be. Who do you want to become, right? We can be clear all day on what we want to do, but it's not about what we do. It's about who we are and who we're becoming. And so you can get a hold of me at AndreaCScott.com. And there's a free ebook, particularly those women, if you're out there and you're struggling, you're going through divorce, or you've gone through divorce and you haven't gotten your clarity, your mental clarity, maybe you need some help with that, your spiritual identity, and then financial stability. That's a big piece, is in moving forward with your financial state. And so Andrea C Scott, just like my name right there, take out that period, but it's AndreaCScott.com, and I'm here for you. I'm your girl. So love y'all. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I want to say thanks to Nate. He's showing up, in support. Kimberly and Steph and Danielle, thanks for hanging in here with us today. And I got to tell you, Andrea, it's really been a true pleasure to spend this moment with you today. And I'm looking forward to another opportunity soon down the road. So maybe we can pick some subjects around, what we didn't get to, and then really dive into that respect, honor, and love piece.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, that was good. I gotta come back. We gotta talk about the respect, honor, and love.
Yes. I'm gonna hold you to it. Okay. Listen, thank you so much. It's been fantastic, and we'll see you again. Okay.
All right. Take care.
Bye bye. Man, woo-wee! That's all I can say is shake it off a little bit, baby. And if you didn't get the chance to listen to all this, go back and check it out. I mean, there's so many nuggets in there that she's provided for you that you can stop that stinking thinking, and you can step into your greatness and the humility that she just displayed in all of the different areas of her life. I mean, she's achieved great things, but she's also human. She's also that person that we can reach out to and touch. And then, you know what? She gave us some good stuff to walk away with. And I know her husband, and I'll read it again, but we'll have a book. Where is it? Let me see if I have it here. Oh, man. As for Me in My House. That's her book that, Amazon bestseller. And then Nate's book, her husband, Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth. I call them the power couple, right? Hey, look, and they're humble, gracious folks that are out to serve. And if you want to get more information about them, please reach out to me, DM me, and I'll make that connection. So as we wrap up again, you guys know where I'm going, man. It's about taking what you heard today, implementing in your life right now, today, not later, not tomorrow, but right now, today, and begin the process of changing the conversation you're having with yourself about yourself, right? And understanding the power that we all have in the opportunity. About that, be excited about the fact that, hey, your world can change and you can make it happen. You don't have to do it by yourself. Stay in this community. Make sure you share this, subscribe, pass this information on to your friends. Hey, Nate, thank you, man. I appreciate you. He said, outstanding job, and she did. She killed it. Man, woo, we had some fun. So anyway, let me let you go today, but I want to tell you one thing, and this is something I want you to think about, parents. We'll talk about this later. Anxiety. This summer, kids are getting out of school. There's whole kinds of things going on, but the whole thing, anxiety, that word keeps popping up. Listen to it in your children's communication. Listen to it through your children's statements. Listen to it in your own statements that you're saying that fuels the anxiety within your child. And please, 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 when they're talking to you, embrace them. Don't try to fix them. Don't try to correct them, but embrace them. Because remember this, they're hearing you say the same things that they're saying out loud that kind of give you an idea that there's potential anxiety in their life about being these words. I never, I can't, right? Man, those are two crazy ones. Listen to your child. Pause. Connect with them. Don't correct them. And understand that anxiety is real in their life. So that's part of that community piece, child development, family development. Stay tuned for more. Appreciate everybody. Have a great day. And go back and check out this session. She killed it, man. Reach out to me. Make sure, for those of you looking for speakers, reach out. Second quarter is booking fast, so we want to make sure you get an opportunity. We'll see you later. Second half of the year, that is.